There it is. Sorry, my mic was muted. Welcome on in, guys. Gonna do some AI stuff today. We're gonna get the game build ready for early next week. We're just knocking that shit out of the way. I apologize about my voice. I'm still recovering from a cold, so I'll be muting my mic probably several times throughout the stream to blow my nose and get some other shit sorted. So you'll have to bear with me, but we got to get some work done. So I'm going to suck it up and we're going to power through for today and get this stuff done. But yeah, I'm a little bit behind on things today due to the cold. So we will power through. But everything should be working. I'm just going to do a quick test here. Okay, so the chat notification is working. Mic is picking up. So I think we're good to go. We'll just load in here and then we will get to work. So we're loaded in. We're going to load up the base level here. And just doing some internal debate. I think that we should probably fix our defense time. I think it's too much. I think it's too much time not attacking. So where did we put defense mode? Right here. So 15 seconds is too much time. Let's do 8 seconds. And then this can be 15. 20. Okay. I just think it's too much shelling for a single fight. It's just boring. Let's see how it fares. Okay, I forgot to also turn on the attack, so we need to go in here and we need to plug back in his offensive brain. Okay, so something else happens. He doesn't change his stance once he takes damage. And that is because we don't need this on. We know it works. We interrupt his attack, so the code gets interrupted, and the is offensive mode at the end of this doesn't fire off. See what that does. Okay, so so we change to our offensive stance here. So I think we're safe to delete this. Oopsie, don't do that. Actually, yeah, we want to delete these. We don't care about those. Just gonna call this stance changing. There we go. So, where's our attacks? So when we attack, we find MC Stinner. We see if we are attacking. If we're attacking, he doesn't attack. And that's basically just to prevent him to focus more on defense. And then plays a montage and turns attack off. But where do we turn its offensive off? Outside of receiving damage. Yeah, where do we see? Let's find references. So we got one there, and we got one here upon taking damage, but we don't have one anywhere else. Let's take a look. So this does have a stance change. It waits until the completed time turns that off. So it does turn it off after the attack sequence. Excuse me. So that's all good. Let's print string here. And we want him basically just to say defense. Underscore on. So that we have a level of communication to the screen that we know, hey, when this guy receives damage, so he's working as intended. Okay, so we do need an adjustment. So if I attack, I need the character to actually, when he goes into defense mode, he needs to change his stance. So the reason why I'm able to counter him is because his defense mode is based off of me sending signals through my defense. So when I change my stance, he changes his stance. But if I attack him and he goes on defense mode, if I stay in the same stance, he's not going to update his information because there's nothing there to update. So we got to get targeted enemy. And then from here we need to get damage direction. We already have that. We're just gonna go. I don't know what it is. We're gonna have to go find it. Characters, player, main character. And basically, whenever we change our stance, right here, we got our orthodox stance switch. We want to set fighting stance. So we want to get fighting stance here. Or defends against. Let's get defend against. Because defend against means my left is your right is my left. And so that's going to be very effective for us because now we can just go set our fighting stance. Okay. Actually, what we want to do... Excuse me. I apologize. What I want to do is get rid of all this shit so that I can see what I'm doing. We're gonna get fighting stance. And we want to set this to defends against. So we're gonna go set defend. And basically what this does is it basically goes, he hit me at this direction, quickly go and defend against that direction so that we can Actually, that's not right. Sorry. We need to be a little bit more robust than this. So we need to do switch. We need to be a little bit more... It's not as easy as just doing that. Sorry. Basic stance, I don't think we have to worry about because I think they auto-block basic stance because they'll always be focused on us, so we'll leave that alone. Orthodox stance needs to be reverse stance, right? So we need to do switch. Reverse. High is high. And then orthodox. Should be orthodox, but I spelt it wrong, so I just double down on spelling it wrong. So what that will do is it will force the AI to defend itself in the direction that was hit. Hypothetically. So let's test that out. Comes in. We bash him. So the problem is disruption. Disruption is not good. We can't use disruption. Disruption has a system in it, and for good reason, to prevent him from blocking. So if we were to stun him or stagger him, he's disrupted, the AI can't work. But it also prevents him from blocking, so we can't use disruption. We need to create another variable, basically. So where is our disruption calculator? Right here. We need to organize this a little bit. But basically, the problem with disruption is that disruption has variables that make him impossible to block. Which we don't want him impossible to block. We want him to block our attacks. But we just don't want him to attack us. So what we need to organize here none of these references to self need to be that big. We're going to do that. We're going to call this one defend or defense mode. And then defense mode off. So defense mode off. This is under AI. There's a lot of shit under AI. And instead of disrupted, we're going to call this defense mode. And then we have disrupt time. I'm going to call this defense time. Or duration. Duration's better, it's more accurate. And then we can just do that. And then obviously we need another bool. Okay, now we got to change our Blackboard values. So we go into here, and we just want to change this to defense. We're just going to copy this, and then we go into our behavior tree. We open up our Blackboard. We're going to add a new key. It's going to be a bool, like that. Instance synced. It's against all instances of the Blackboard. That's not what we want. So now we're back here. We want to go to the basic tree. Sorry. Uh-oh. Fuck. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. I don't think we did, but basically we have to set it to defense mode so that he can block properly when he's in that position instead of disrupted, because disruption overrides the defense system. And we don't want to override our own defense system. We want to activate the defense system. So that was a little bit of an oversight, which is why we test before we ship. Because the last thing you want to do is have the game just not really respond in the way you want it to. AFP, welcome in. Appreciate you stopping in. So we still have defense mode here. And what we're going to do So disrupted is set. On value change. Lower priority. Defense mode. Now the only thing that's different are these conditions, but the bool behind it saves us some time. So what we need to do now is we got to update all the behavior trees of the other stuff. So we go into our AI components. Bear. Here we go. Actually, let's play test before we get too crazy. That's also a good idea. Just in case it doesn't work and then we gotta undo everything we fixed, quote unquote. But it should work. No, it won't work, actually. I fucked up. I just realized. Gotta go into Master AI. So we have defense mode. Go into here. Change all stance. And then we're going to go defense mode. Yoink. Set defense duration. 8 seconds. Go in defense mode. And then it's just gonna delay 20 seconds. Let's see. There should be a screen to let us know. All right. So he was a little unresponsive there, but we'll see. That might be his reaction time is just set too low. He was weirdly aggressive. Let's try it again. So it definitely isn't activating. This is working, but it's not activating consistently, and it's not disrupting properly. So what if I, instead of putting this here, and you know what it is? I think this is too close together. So it's not actually updating. But if I put this here and then fired this off, I feel like that's a little bit better. And then I just took this. Right here is the problem here as well. Defense off. There's nothing to call it off. Okay, let's see what happens now. So this is why we play test. We find out something's not behaving like it's supposed to. Then we can go, okay, something weird is going on here. Let's figure it out, right? Okay, so he shouldn't be able to attack me. Okay, so let's do something else here quick as well. Which is going to be a custom event. And we're going to call this switch back to defense. So the AI will respond. The AI will respond to us changing stance. But he won't respond he will not respond to a switch on damage direction. So we're going to go get MC reference. And we're going to just get damage. Get damage. Get fighting stance. We'll just do a switch. Excuse me, I apologize. I am dealing with a cold. So bear with me. Okay, so we want to get reverse I stance switch, then orthodox. Because my right is your left. It's the same logic here. High is high, but my right is your left when we face each other. So that should be good there. But now, at the end of an attack, we want to come in here Then we want to do switch back to defense. Right? So now we also have the attack combo, which is this. Switch back to defense. And I also want to just I want to make sure this is working correctly. So we'll have defense on or defense mode. We'll call it defense mode. Compile and save. Hit play here. Let's see what we did. So we come in here, he draws his weapon. Defense. Okay, so I want to test to see if it works properly, because I don't think the defense duration is working. So we're going to set this to 500 seconds. So that's going to be like he can't attack in an extremely long time. All right. And then we want defense mode off. I want to be able to communicate that, so... right here. Compile and save. I just want to make sure it's working. So we're pushing this beyond a reasonable time limit where he's just going to be on the defense. Okay, so it didn't turn off, but he's still able to attack. Which tells me I screwed up the behavior tree. In that we cannot have both of these. But maybe I make this one a weight 0.2. like that. And then just on death, if we go to Master AI, again, we go to the damage, we open up death, and we also come over here. Like that. Let's just see. And then instead of 500 seconds here, we'll set this back to 8 seconds. I don't want to add unnecessary nodes. So it's still attacking. Despite being higher priority. I wonder why that is. Okay. So I think it's because disruption. I think it's because disruption is higher priority. So it will pull. Because this is a selector. So it will pull from disruption and move left. So I think what we want to do is this. And let's see if this makes a difference. I think it's because I used my melee attack to stun him, the disruption overrided his defense mode, even though it technically activated. So even though this mode is still on, it wants to choose That should prioritize over disruption. I'm not sure why it doesn't, to be honest. Like, if I do this, now he's stuck in defense mode. But he doesn't really move, he just stands there. So maybe the answer is... because I don't want him to just stand there either. So maybe this has to go back to is dead. I don't care. We'll set this back to is dead. And we will mess around with other stuff. Hold on a sec. Oh, I don't recognize the number. Fuck it. So, what if we did... a fairly simple in the master AI... we're just gonna add an or. Or means either of these conditions or both of these conditions can be on, and if they are on, no attack. So we're just gonna go and grab defense mode. Get defense. And do the same thing here. Like that. All right. Let's see what that does. And then we can go to defense mode. Actually, this isn't the way to do it, because I don't want him to do a stance change. So we're actually gonna go back. Like that. And what we want to do here... we're going to get rid of this. We don't need the blackboard value anymore. Just go in here. And we're going to see if he's dead or get defense on. We need an orb value here. Just like that. Okay. Okay. So instead of affecting his behavior tree, we're just going to make him not change stances and attack. So why is he changing his stance? Oh, right. He's trying to feint. So we need to fix that. That's easy, though. We just go into this tree here. Run this. Yeah, right here. We're going to open this up. And once again, we need to get defense mode. Because if he's focusing on defense, he's not just going to change his thing. Like if he was looking to feint or get offensive, he would, but he's not doing that here. He's trying to turtle. So let's do that. And then he shouldn't be wanting to actually do that anymore. There it is. That's what we want. So there is still a cooldown. And I think that's okay. I don't mind him having a cooldown. So I think that's pretty good. I just want to see how easy it is to just spam. Yeah. No, that's working more or less as intended. Yeah, that's working more or less as intended. All right. So that's good. That means it's working. That means what we're doing is working. And the AI will now react to you taking damage. That's exactly what we want. So that's good. That means this is behaving properly. Yeah, I like it. It makes for less aggressive combat, but it's more reactive. So if he takes damage, he wants to defend himself. He wants to sort of retreat a little bit. All right. So, I'm happy with this. I think this is working as intended. For better or worse, this is working as intended. The next step in this project is to kind of fix all of this shit. So we have a bear special attack. We want to go through all... Yeah, that's all good. Fainting, I don't have a problem with. But we're just going to go through. Got the Berserker here, Bash initial combo. We got a stun attack combo here. We need to get defense mode. Or... attack combo, attack. Change stance, strafe. Yeah, so we already changed all of those. Attack combo, attack combo, attack combo. Stun combo. We haven't looked at this one yet. Attack combo, attack, attack stun combo. Okay, we have that as well. Stance, change, strafe, query, feint. All those are good. All of that's fine. It's fine. Bowman. That's just shooting the bow. Once you get close to proximity, he abandons it, so I don't think that's an issue. Yeah, that's all fine. That will all pass. So we got these guys here. Counterattack. I think counterattack is fine. And we got this. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with any of this. This should all be good above board. So those are all fine. I think these are all fine. So all of these should play okay. Let's have the Wolves ignore defense. Let's have them ignore defense. So defense mode will activate, but it won't affect the AI. Because they have so little health anyway, just have them ignore it. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's fixed. Let's go ahead and load level 1. And we will look at fixing the spawn system. Because currently the spawn system is a little bit messier than it needs to be. So we're going to fix it. Make it better. Just takes a minute to load. There we go, 100%. All right. Let's change the speed. So this is our current spawn, which is here. And it's got a bit of a brokenness to it, so we're gonna fix that when we do our own stuff. So we're gonna delete that for now. Delete that. Delete that. Delete him. Spawn. Spawn. Honestly, all of these harbor spawns. They're no good. Lead him. Lead him. That's a country spawner. Okay. That's already improving our frame rate here because of just the unnecessary amount of draw calls we added. So we're fixing that. Async. This should be much more lightweight. Which is here, and then we just gotta set our values to whatever we want. And since you get to see our new spawn system, our new spawn trigger. So it's all stuck in one blueprint now. The other ones, we had a trigger, and then we had a spawn blueprint outside of the trigger, and we made them communicate with one another. This is all just in one blueprint. It's a lot more concise, and it's a lot more flexible. So this is level 1, and this is the harbor. So these can stay. Something I wanted to do, actually, which would be pretty cool, is we're going to do a switch. So we're going to get current level. We just want to do a switch. Oh boy. Oh my. We want to do a switch. And then we're just gonna get compound level 2 set instance. Maybe I can't change that. Huh, isn't that interesting? Let me see if we can. I don't think we can. It doesn't seem like we can. I just think it would be neater. Unreal 4 set instance. Editable. Edible. Editable. Not edible. Can't eat it. Instance edible. Yeah. Nah, there's nothing we can do. We're just going to have to deal with a cluttered details panel. Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but we're just going to have a detailed, just a cluttered panel. That's fine. Because we're going to have to add more things too, which is going to make it a bit more annoying. But we need a compound for every level so that we can do a breakdown. But basically, whenever you cross into this trigger zone, which is really, really small right now, it'll have a display saying what the zone is. So if you enter into the harbor compound, you get a harbor. But if you enter into, say, the country will have no display. So that will just be an enemy spawn trigger that's out and it's not in a specific compound. So the enemy will just spawn in dynamically and won't require that. But it's all built in one, so it's a lot more efficient. So the trigger radius here at 500 doesn't cover anything. Let's set it to 8,000. 8,000 covers a lot. But maybe 10,000 is the right number. Uh, 9,000. So we got that. Then we can also, let's say, well, I don't know if I like where that is. We can just take the whole trigger. Let's say you already started placing AI, so you don't necessarily want to move a bunch of stuff. We can just take this full trigger, move it like that. Let's say, actually, I want to hit the trigger really early. So I want to go out here a little bit. And then maybe we want to make this just a little bit bigger. So maybe we do make it 10,000. 1,200. 12,000, I should say. That's a little bit big. 11,000. That seems pretty generous. Okay, so now we have the trigger spot. Cool. What kind of enemies do we want? So we want a grunt. So grunts have 2 variants, and I have allowed for 2 variants for each enemy type. So I can come over here and go, basically, I want the grunt soldier here and the grunt soldier here. So now we have 2 variants of the grunt. They will randomly spawn between those 2 variants. And then I could just go enemy type 1 spawn, boom, right there. So where do I want to put a grunt? Well, we've traditionally had a grunt right here on this area here. So let's keep one there. We'll lift this up. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. We had 2 grunts here. So we're going to open this up again. Add another variable. And the red arrow is where he's facing. So if I want to rotate him like that, make sure the red arrow is where he's facing, lift it off the ground, we're good. always lift your spawns off the ground. If they're level with the ground, it can cause a collision issue, and it may not spawn. Which is kind of annoying, like it's rude, if anything else. Just kind of lift it a bit off the ground. Right there. So those are some grunt spawns, and I think we had a grunt here as well. But we're using instances, and these are basically just coordinates. So they don't really do anything other than when you overlap, it's going to tell the engine, hey, we're starting here. Spawn at these coordinates with this enemy type. It's very simple. It's a lot more basic than what we had before, so it should be a lot more lightweight, which is what we want. We do not want an overly complicated spawning system where enemies are just a pain in the ass. So we may even utilize it for slaves if we want to do slave spawns. Right now, I'm kind of fine with how the slaves are set up right now. And right now, they're basically just background characters. They don't even really do much. They don't have anything really in terms of AI. But let's say there. And we had a couple of slave or grunts in the upper harbor as well. So we can just come through here. And again, the x-axis is the direction the AI is. So let's say, yeah, this guy has a patrol route here. That's good there. There's another patrol route there, but I think that's for a reaver. There is a patrol route right here, so we can just boop. Look for our 5 here. Just kind of drag it. This is real easy. But this is so much more lightweight than what we had before. A lot less complicated. And it's gonna work just way better. They'll grind for you. Oh, nice. Straw Bunny, welcome in. Thank you so much for stopping by. We're doing a little bit of technical stuff, but it's pretty cool, I think. So that's good there. I think we want another one here. Yeah, I think that's it. 1, 2. Okay, so spawn's complete. Next up, we want to do a next enemy type, which will be the next most common, which is the Reaver. So we're going to go Reaver and Reaver 2. Then we can just pluck that up. And these little 3D gizmos that just pop up for us really help. We're just going to turn that off. We don't need it to be snap mode. It really helps us control what we want to control. and it's super lightweight. Like I said, we're really only interested in giving coordinates. So we don't need to have 10 separate blueprints telling the game the exact same information. We just need to say, spawn this enemy type here, here, and here. Spawn this enemy type here, here, and here, and here. It should be extremely lightweight. So this is a step in that direction. Boop, boop, boom. Reaver. I think that's it. Also, the trigger is the trigger, but it does not have to be inside the trigger. I can put a spawn on the other end of the map, theoretically. It won't matter because it will just be taking that data and copying it. So it shouldn't actually matter too much about those kind of things. So we want another Reaver here, I think. Oop. And again, the whole sell on this thing is it's way less draw calls because we're using instanced vertex points location on the map instead of each one being an individual blueprint and spawner. So this has got a nice green color to it. This one has a nice orange color to it. So it's also color coded so that you can see the different variants in the spawns. Okay. So that's the Reaver, and then the other two are the most rare, is the Berserker and whatever the other one is. So this is our spawn. So then we're gonna do we're gonna do the Vanguard, which is a pretty easy one because there's only one spot for the Vanguard. Which is right here. And it's got a nice, like, purple color to it, right? All of these markers are color-coded so that you know exactly where they are. And you know which type you're messing around with. So it's just another bit of information. Now, post-process settings in this level really fuck with the emission settings, and the colors are a little bit less like searing hot in emission in the other one. So Berserker here only has one variant right now, so for variant 1 and variant 2 we just have it as the same character, and then it doesn't really matter, right? So it doesn't have to have two variants, but you can have two variants. And then the Berserker is going to be up here, and we're just gonna make him spawn right here. Now, I think he should be able to get off this ledge pretty easy on his own. But I don't 100% know that. But we're going to find out, I guess, when we do our playtest. But yeah, it's got like a nice blue, very easy to read. That's a nice green. Slightly different colors, but you can tell they're different colors. And then we got an orange and like a pink. Pink-purple color. I don't like that fucking grid, man. So that's basically, we recreated the spawns. It's much lighter weight. And yeah, once you cross where you usually cross, it'll spawn in, and we can play test it. There it is. Still got that stutter. More or less works. The frame rate's a little dodgy because we're playing in editor and there's a lot of shit going on. The baked version has a much more stable frame rate. This thing is just a little bit shitty to play test in editor mode. You need to play it into the build if you want to have a decent frame rate. But it works. I mean, in here, easy. But when you have this screen on, and then you play that game in another window, you're basically rendering the game twice, because this screen has everything. So if I change this maybe to unlit and killed all the lights in here, maybe that would help performance, but it's just even better if I took it out of the editor and played the build, right? So that's kind of why you're seeing a little bit in this level in particular, because this is the most complete level. You do get a little bit of a frame rate dip in the editor, but the actual build is a lot smoother, which honestly, I don't know for sure, but I think a lot of game engines, maybe they do now, but they used to, like, playing in editor, I think is a relatively modern addition to game engines. It used to be just, yeah, you put out a build, then you play test, tweak this, okay, go back in, tweak it in the engine, repackage it, play the build again. I think the play in editor feature is pretty modern. So here we have another trigger that we can put in right here, and we can just set this to, I don't know, 4,000. Maybe bigger than that even. 8,000 seems pretty good. And we want to just set it to country. So that we set that to country, that should have no display. Also, I do want to fix the display situation. Because we did make the display more dynamic, which is good. In that it now runs a custom font. So our text is based off of our location. And then it's just a generic background. So we're going to change the background per level. So the first background is Slaver's Bay, so it's got like chains and shit hanging from the thing. And then the next one is the Cursewood, so we're going to have like vines and tree limbs coming off of it. Make it look a little bit more unique to the level. So we have that capacity. We're not going to do that before the build, but it's in there and the foundation's in there so we can customize it. But what I did want to do is go into our event graph here, and our location display, I just want to do a do once. It's going to do the display. And then we'll delay. And we'll have it be 500 seconds. Nah, we'll just have it do once. Once you discover a place, you don't need to rediscover it. You'll know where you're at. It's just a do once. No, actually. We don't want to do that here. Sorry. Leave this alone. Because as we enter different compounds, we need that to play. We want to go in here, which is the trigger. And basically here we want to do once on all of these. So that these never fire off again. But you can still enter different compounds and get the proper reaction. And then, of course, the country doesn't plug into anything, so there's no plane of the location display. So that's what we want to do. And then we do the same thing here with level 2. Ba-ba-ba. No resetting, no nothing. You discover it once, don't get to discover it again. Good enough. So he said this is a country spawn, so it don't matter. Here's the trigger. And for this, we want to do a grunt and a reaver. So we're just going to go grunt, grunt, reaver, reaver 02. Get rid of these spawns. These spawns are no good. It's got the bug again. There's a bug with this where it snaps to the OG location, which is fucking annoying. Good enough. All right. So those are good. Maybe we do a deer. There can be some deer. This is not necessarily... just a one-time thing. Yeah, I just wish it didn't do that. So when you have this bug, I don't know, maybe we can try reloading level 1. Let's just try here. Let's save all. Let's see if reloading the level is enough to fix the bug. Well, that certainly loaded that in better. Yeah, so that's enough to fix the bug. So you can come out here. Like that. Character, AI component, and let's just get a little patrol path in here. So at least the bug's not too hard to fix. Right there. Then obviously we want to add some instances so that the patrol path actually does something. So the first checkpoint is always at 0. Then our second checkpoint can be out here. And then our third checkpoint there. You guys get the gist, right? This is a pretty basic just patrol route. He goes forward and then he goes... maybe he cuts to here and then he goes back, right? Wanders between both regions. Then the last one. He just wanders into this area here. Really easy, really clean. Pretty straightforward. And then... yeah, we can say that's it for that spawn. And then we can put in a spawn trigger right here. Yeah, right here. And obviously this place is walled off, so it's pretty dang easy to set up a trigger. As long as you're outside the wall, you're pretty safe. But yeah, this is the auction, so we change that to the auction. It will dynamically change the display name to auction. And then, yeah, we can just set this up. So 10,000. It's a little big, isn't it? Maybe we can do 8,000. Maybe we can do 6,500. You know, I don't hate 6,500. I think that's a pretty fair spot. And then we just want to move the trigger a bit. Just fine tune it. But it allows us our other spawns to get ahead of it. So obviously this is going to have a grunt, berserker, Reaver, and Vanguard. Those are our main enemies. We do have the Bowman, but the Bowman is going to be locked to level 2, so I don't want to have the Bowman in here. But yeah, you can see this is much more lightweight than what we had before. Drop a guy here. This is going to be the Grunt. This will be another Grunt. This is the Berserker, will be right here. Which is 2. Light him up with that. Reaver. One will be there. I want him to face the task so he knows to walk towards it. Then we'll put up a Grunt and a Reaver over here. Reaver here. And if it's a bit above the ground, like I said, you kind of want it to be above the ground so that the spawns drop. Ah, shit. No, we don't. We want them out here. We're gonna make because that trigger is so close to that, you're gonna see them just appear in front of your eyes, right? So what we want is this trigger, which is the country trigger. Nope. Right here. Do 1 and 1. Yeah, that's why I had them set up as country triggers before, because I'm like, They got to spawn earlier. Now they're guarding, so they don't actually have like a route. They're just kind of watching and standing guard. There's one. There's the other, but you can see how we're a lot more localized. We're a lot more customized. We're a lot smarter in how we plant our levels. These guys are guarding the inside. Those guys are guarding the outside. Probably put a berserker in here. This is a vanguard. We're just gonna... nice and gloomy. This is gonna be an absolute nightmare of a fight. Because this area is really gloomy. Really dark and really constrained, so you get to have fun fighting a guy is effectively just standing guard here. Or better yet, maybe he's right here. Just sort of waiting for you to come down. So that just seems like that's the right thing to do. Come on, there we go. And then we want a berserker. In this region. And then a grunt, which I think is still number 1. So 1 grunt here. Which will make this actually a pretty tricky fight. Because the berserker is pretty tough. And then we can add... This guy needs to go underneath. Now this region is not as necessarily fleshed out as other areas, but it is instanced. So it is cheap. We can copy this too. Paste. Awesome. So that's that for now. But you can see now how we kind of set this area up, right? We can do the barracks here. Again, these areas aren't super finished, but we've never had spawns in here before, so having new spawns could be pretty cool. Just gonna lift this high off the ground like this, because that's actually gonna make things a lot easier to move. Could make this 6,000. I wish we could change the shape. Because a box collision would make a lot more sense. Currently, though, I don't think there's any way you get up there. So I'm thinking maybe we can make this smaller. Let's make this 5,000. Right there, basically. Then we can go from there. We'll do Vanguard. Vanguard are like the elite soldier. Obviously, this just floats all the way up into the friggin' sky. Now, I think I have interactive ladders. Maybe I do not. Doesn't look like I do. I don't think there's actually a way up here yet. So we do not. This is very unfinished. I will have to spend some time on these still. But this is still the most polished level we have. Add one there. We want a Vanguard up at the tippity top here. And again, it's not confined to inside the trigger space. The trigger space is just the event that triggers as you go over top of it. So they're not the same thing. This is not instanced at all. That is peculiar. We will have to make sure we clutter this. I don't know if we'll get it done before we ship the build, but we do have to make sure we get this cluttered. So those are 2 Vanguards. That's probably enough for them. And we'll use a few grunts. And then a Reaver. And maybe a Berserker. Grunt. Facing that way. So they're kind of hiding behind the wall so that you don't ever really see anyone directly spawn, because that's kind of broken. You don't want that. You don't want to see the enemy spawn in, right? You don't want to just see an enemy pop out of thin air and go. So that looks good there. That breaks the immersion, right? So that's good there. We'll add a Reaver. Here. Then inside here we want to add some stuff too. Is this a static mesh? We gotta replace that whole fucking thing. This whole thing's broken. I know this is instanced. That's all made with instancing, but the rest of this crap is static meshes, so we gotta... Oops. We do gotta fix that. No, we're gonna have the Reaver. Yeah, we can have the Reaver inside here. Reaver there, and then we want another guy, the Berserker. Down in here. So yeah, you come down here. Maybe we do a grunt here. And then you think, okay, the coast is clear, you curve around the corner, there's a Berserker, and it fucks your day up. So I think that sounds like a fun idea. Bring him down. There he is. There we go. Nice little underground region. Decent amount of enemies in here. It's filled up, it's cluttered. So that's basically how this region is going to work. More or less. We'll call that for this area, and then we'll start putting spawns in level 2. So content. Oh, wait. Blueprints. Open level blueprint. Ooh, should we have a delay? That might not be a bad idea. I forgot that was a thing. This we don't need. And then this is just a console command to wipe all messages, so we'll keep that. But we're basically making this a lot smoother. But if we come out here and we look at this, we can do 4 each. Delay. And plug this in here. Plug the array in here. Plug the array index here. Plug that in there. And basically what that does is if you open up the macro of this, what we're doing instead is we're putting in a delay before it figures out the length and the execute. And basically it just means it's going to take a second each time this triggers. So we want to make this, I don't know, 0.5 seconds. That's why it runs a little bit smoother on the old system, is because we had a delay system in place. I think 0.3 is fine. 0.5 is a lot of boop, boop. It would be boop, 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 boop. It could take 3 or 4 seconds to load all the characters in. So 0.3 is significantly faster. Now, in editor, we may not see a huge difference, but I think we would see a huge difference in the build. But we'll test it out. We can test it out. Yeah. There was a tiny stutter for like a fraction of a second. But that other one was like a good 3/4 second, and now it's like a blip. It looks like a skipped frame, a micro stutter. So that will run even better outside of editor. You probably won't even see it. So that's the fix right there. That's what we wanted. The next step is level 2. So let's open up level 2 and let's see if we can get level 2 set up a little bit. Yeah, having that little delay in there basically means each time it wants to load something in, it just gives it a second to catch up to itself. So you're not going to frickin' explode the whole damn thing. But like, we have 800 actors in that first level. We need to bring that way down. Way the fuck down. So that's what I'm going to be doing before we launch. I don't think I'm going to get it done before Tuesday when we launch our build of this version, but yeah, we got to bring those numbers way down. We can't have 800 draw calls. Got to get that shit way down. So that's what we're going to do. Well, it's probably closer to like 1,1600 draw calls. Because we got that many actors. You also have to factor in materials and a whole bunch of other stuff. It could be almost 3,000 draw calls in that level. Now, it doesn't load the whole level at once. We do have culling and occlusion culling and distance culling and stuff like that. But we need to get those numbers down. It's got to be like this area here is pretty fleshed out in terms of trees and foliage and stuff. We're going to be adding more instances, but I'm expecting to keep this under 250. That's my goal, is that this thing is under 250 total actors. If I can keep that under 250 compared to the 833 that we have on the other one, we are going to be freaking laughing at how much optimization we have. In terms of this stuff, at least. It will run way smoother when we get those numbers down. All right, so there's our trigger. This is level 2. So we're ignoring compound level 1 because it doesn't make a difference. And we want to be the hunter's camp. So in the hunter's camp, we're going to have reavers, grunts, reaver grunt, and archer. Oh yeah, we also want the compound trigger to be bigger. Oh, and player start needs to actually go to the player start. Let's go and move this to its correct location. Oh, Aster, you stupid bastard. There we go. So you spawn there. This is just our little camp. I made it worse, chat. Don't ask me how I did it. No, we want T. There we go. There's our spawn trigger right there. Okay. So type 1 is going to be the grunt. Type 2 is going to be the reaver. And then type 3 will be the archer. Type 4 will put a hare. Or a squirrel. Either one. Critters. Non-combative AI. Look who it is. I don't think it works that way. I agree with Tomboy. We want to set this trigger to 8,000 maybe? Nah, 5,000. Maybe 9,000. Something like that. I don't hate that, actually. We'll leave that in. So this is a grunt. So we can stick him right here. Just to give people something to do, change of scenery, mixing stuff up. Add some reverse. As you can see, this is a lot more dull of a lighting situation, so the colors come a lot cleaner in this, where the other side, it was like scorching white hot emission that you couldn't even really see the color. This one, the color comes through a little bit more. It's also a lot more desaturated. But basically what I did is I just kind of took what I learned from the base game and just sort of made that work. I have an archer here. Now we also need patrol routes for some of these guys, because it would look weird if they're just kind of standing there doing nothing. So we do want a little bit of patrol routes. But this is basically a hunter's camp, right? So we don't want to be... You don't want to get too crazy. Although there's a lot of fucking beds here. There's a lot of people here, actually. But we don't want to get too crazy. I think if we get too crazy in terms of quantity, especially with archers, you're going to get overrun pretty easily and overwhelmed. Even though the archers aren't terrible to deal with in terms of by themselves. If you're fighting other enemies and you're distracted and then they're pegging you from a distance with a bow, it's gonna suck. Not too much unlike Chivalry, actually. Dealing with archers in Chivalry is pretty easy if they're the only thing in the room. But, unless they're really fucking good at their sidearm. But usually, if you can close the distance, it's your fight to lose. Let's get these guys a little closer together. But it's the same kind of idea here. You're at a big disadvantage if you can't deal with them. Maybe a grunt here. A little high off the ground. Yes, and that's the same thing with my game. You can block with a shield, but you cannot... So it doesn't look too bad when it does the adjustment thing. I don't really like the whole like simulated pupil dilation. I think it looks kind of weird, to be honest. I guess that's neither here nor there. So that's a pretty full spawned area. How many spawns do we have here? 4, 6, 9. 9's a pretty good number, if I'm being honest. Let's get some cute critters in here. Just for some extra cuteness, right? Yeah, in my game, the hold block button is reserved only for shields, because you can't, like... Yeah, technically you can block with a sword or something like that and hold it in front of you and keep it there. But anybody with a frickin' brain is just going to attack you where the sword isn't covering. And then you have to reflexively parry that. Like, you can't just hold a sword in front of you and block like a shield. That doesn't make any sense. Unless you have, like, a Cloudbreaker Final Fantasy style greatsword. You can't just hide behind a sword. Sorry, not sorry. That should be enough spawns. Let's get some patrol routes in here. Boop. The first patrol path always has to be 0-0. It just does. This checkpoint here, right there. Checkpoint 2, right there. Right there. There we go. And then we're going to change this to looping. So if looping is true, what happens is it goes here, 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 3, 4, 5, and then back to 0. If looping is not true and it's is forward, it's going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And if I turn is forward off and they're both off, then it's going to start at 0 and it's going to go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back forward that way. So you want loop is forward to be on, but we're going to loop. So they're just going to do this and then just keep doing this. And that's the patrol that these guys take. This guy here should have a patrol path. This one will be a lot shorter. Boom. There. Basically, you're just telling the AI which direction to move in. There. And then he just walks back. Nothing complicated with that. Have some intersection going on. I think that could be pretty cool if we have intersecting patrols. In my opinion. Maybe it's gay, but we're gonna see. This guy's just going to be guarding, so he's just going to stand still. That guy can move around. I guess this guy can move around too. Might as well, eh? Right there. We go there. Then here. Like that. Then we'll make that looping. Make sure that's forward. All right. So that's one region. I think we need to have at least a couple compounds, right? So we're going to just clutter some other areas with AI so that you guys have something to kind of experience when you play the level. And then we'll do play testing next week. I don't know what else I want to do before I punch build, but I think I want to build it Monday night. So we'll see what we have time for on Monday. I'm going to take overtime off just to make sure everything's kind of smooth over here. But this area here, we want to have wildlife. Actually, I want all these patrol paths. Where is our trigger? So take all the patrol paths. Let's throw them under the trigger. That'll be good. In my humble opinion. Honestly, once I get the enemies spawned in, this area will be about the same level of complete as Area 1. And it's going to have under 200 actors. Which is pretty freaking crazy, just the sheer contrast of what we have going on here. So this is level 2. And this is going to be the country. So we're just going to call this country. And we're going to make this 5,000. Should be okay. And then we're going to do a buck. Go. Air. Squirrel. And the reason this is all... These are all docile NPCs. Nothing crazy. So we'll do a buck and 2 does. One here. Let's move the trigger this way a little bit so that we have some breathing room. Yeah, we want them to kind of start here. There's the buck. There's the doe. Come out here. Bada bing, bada boom. Knock that up. I guess I can't rotate these. These are just transform elements, I'm guessing. Which is fine. Or not transform, vector elements. Transforms you can rotate. I wonder if they can actually reach that. There's a lot of collision there. I don't think they can. Okay, so that's good there. Yeah, we're just going to keep it default so that he goes up here and then he comes back. And all the deer will follow the same path because they should all be under. They're all within the proximity, so they should all trigger the same control route. Okay. We'll do a squirrel. We'll do a couple squirrels here. I think. Nope, these are bunnies. We'll do bunnies in different spots. Bunny there. We'll have this guy just sitting. He's just sitting on the road, and then when he sees you, he'll run away on his own. This bunny here will have a patrol path right there. And from this patrol path, we just got to add a couple checkpoints. But as you can see, this is a pretty straightforward kind of level design. No rotation values on this thing, but you don't really need to. They're just points, location coordinates for the thing to travel, so the rotation is kind of irrelevant. So we're just going to have him do that. That's back and forth. And last but not least, we need some squirrels. One, two. Another patrol path. Keep it all nice and organized. think that could work, actually. Don't judge me yet. But I think that could work. We'll keep it down in here. Like that. So he can just go zoom here and then come back. And of course, this is the country, so this has no actual spawns, but that is pretty good for just a random location. Then we can come in here. Do this a similar technique like we've been doing all along. Excuse me. This guy can go away. No reason for a mannequin basically to be there. And we have to set up the wolf spawn. I forgot to set up the wolf spawn, so... How are we going to do this, guys? We're going to go into our characters. AI, enemies, wildlife. We got the alpha here. Add another variable. And we're going to call this with underscore pack. We're going to expose that variable. Then we're going to just do master AI. On. No. Ah. How do we trigger this? Let's look at the controller. Sorry about my sniffling, guys. I've been battling a cold all fucking day. Let's go in here and just get Wolf, because this is for Wolf Alpha class. What if we did that? Oh, it still plugs in. And then we're just going to go in here and get pack. With pack. Get with pack. Branch. If it's true, this is event on possess. So as soon as the controller possesses the wolf, we're going to get the wolf alpha blueprint. We're going to initialize blueprint. So it's going to do all the event begin play stuff. And it's going to search, is it with the pack? And if it is true, then we're going to spawn. Spawn. Pack. Right there, and then it spawns his wolf underlings. But only if it's true. If it's not true, if we just want to have just the big wolf on his own, we can have the big wolf on his own. Although, I don't know if that's going to work. Because we're spawning them dynamically, so I won't be able to adjust that setting. I won't be able to adjust that setting. So what we'll have to do is just make a... We'll have to make another variant if we want to do that, which I don't even know if I do at this point in time. So we'll leave that alone for now. But now I come in here and I should be able to... One, we'll move the trigger a touch. Touch more like this way. And then we can just come over here. We'll just set this up here. So this is 2. This is the abandoned house. Alpha, and there's no variants of that. We want the bowman in here, just one bowman. I guess we'll do the doe. Sorry, that has to be a bowman. This has to be a doe. This. Do a squirrel, I guess it's fine. Something like that. Let's see what we got here. So wolf is the primary enemy type. So we're going to spawn a pack of wolves here. We'll even make them here, the sneaky little pricks. Right around there. And then we go boom. And then add another one. Now, wolves are pretty tricky. You have to pretty much just attack them quickly and take the leader out right away. The leader is the one who takes more than one hit to die. All the other wolves are one-hit kills. But you have to be very careful dealing with them. Do another pack of wolves. Right here. Have them go here, and we'll have them do like a little loop. So I think that'll be easier. Two. Go right there. Maybe they climb up around here. Yeah, they can climb up. Right here, sorry. Up here. And then they go up on the hill. Right around here. And then they can actually pretty peacefully loop back. Like that. Just make sure it's looping. So now they just go over here, around up here, down here, and then back here. This is a little sloppy. So we'll make a point here. Bring that point there. Then up here. And that should make a nice loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I like that. That's gonna be good. Then we want a bowman. He's going to be coming out of the bushes. He's kind of like a hunter, right? Another patrol path. Bowman can go down quite a bit. That's a little high, right? There we go. Patrol path. 0. And then just have him sort of creep down. There. He's going to stick to the trees. Because he's trying to be stealthy, right? He's poaching. For some tasty, tasty deer meat. That might be too hard for him to climb. We might have to go this way. There we go. There's our poacher. Then we have our deer. Just 3. That's high enough off the ground, actually, as is. Actually, I want it to be here. Because the wolf is going to be wandering around here, right? He's going to go in through here, so I want the buck to kind of go the other direction. Go here. There we go. Go in here. Then he wants to kind of curl into the forest area. Right over here. There. And he's just kind of grazing. So we want him to kind of go everywhere. And then he can come back, feed through. Obviously, the hunter is there. He's there. We can have a squirrel. Have a couple squirrels in here for fun. And then I think we'll probably call it a day. And Monday we will finish setting up the spawns in here. And I think we're pretty much ready to release this build. I do have to fuck around with... I do have to fuck around a little bit. There's something that when this game launches, it triggers VR shit. I have no idea why that's happening. It is happening. So we can have a squirrel right there, and he can just plop his ass on the fucking ground. I don't give a shit. Just add a couple squirrels to plop their asses on the ground. But we'll flesh this out and then we'll play test it another day. I'm out of time for today. Thank you guys for hanging out though. But yeah, we got 3 triggers right now. You can probably put at least 3 more in here. And then we'll be in pretty good shape for the playtest, I think. But yeah, we do have to... There's a weird bug with the VR. I don't have a VR system, so I don't know how to prove that out. But I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to turn that off. It's not game-breaking, but it is annoying, so... I can sympathize with why people want to get rid of it. But yeah, the spawn systems work. So this should work pretty smoothly. How many? We got 6 people. We could do a raid. We'll raid this guy here. Scavenger. Scavenger's always been cool. You were always cool. Don't show up to school tomorrow. Okay, that's it. See you guys later.